G'day art adventurers, Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays. I am back again already, and this time I am doing part 2 of my December ArtSnacks box. And if you missed the first part where I unboxed it quite a couple of weeks ago, I'll put a card up in the corner so you can go and check it out. I'm finally getting around to trying out the supplies, starting off with the General's Draughting Pencil, and I found this was a really great pencil, really easy to use. Even though the lead is quite dark or the graphite's quite dark, it's really quite easy to erase. And I'm just working on a Strathmore watercolor card, and I'm creating a Christmas card for all of my subscribers. I'm using the fan art world of Futurama with the robot evil Santa. If you've never seen Futurama, it's set in the future where Santa Claus, in one part of it anyway, Santa Claus is a robot that has become evil, and every Xmas, because they don't call it Christmas there, they call it Xmas, he comes back to get everyone that's been naughty, which I think is pretty much everyone. He kind of tries to kill everyone on Earth. And so Xmas is a time where everyone runs around and hides. And then I'm moving on after the General's Draughting Pencil to using my Krink marker for the first time, the K75, the big boy. And I wasn't sure if I was doing something right or wrong. It was kind of just leaking out fluid at first. It's an alcohol-based paint marker, which I haven't come across before. So I'm guessing that it was just some of the alcohol had separated. And I tried to do my best to place it down when I realized I hadn't really planned out this card so well, and almost everything was fine details. Even though I'd hoped to have some large red spaces, I didn't really have that many large areas to cover, so it was really difficult to use. I was pretty much just stuck using the tip of the super wide chisel. It's 7mm wide, so it was quite a struggle. And at the moment, it's just looking like a hot mess. But I think that I get to the point where I save it a little bit, thanks in part to these guys, the Faber-Castell Artist PITT pens. And you can get all sorts of different Artist PITT pens, and everyone raves about how great they are. And this is my first time really trying them out, and they really are amazing. So juicy, strong, permanent Black India ink. They feel great in the hand. And this set is just such a great set. You get a brush, a soft calligraphy, and a 1.5 bullet nib. And I'm using the 1.5 bullet nib to start off with, and then I use the soft brush to do some of the detail work, and even the calligraphy one at some points as well. And even though they look quite wide, or the brushes are able to get some thick strokes, you can get some really fine details with it too. So I found that they were amazing to use, really, really fun, and they're the thing that really helps to save this card, along with me cheating a little bit here using a white acrylic paint marker from a previous ArtSnacks box, I think? I'm not sure exactly, but it's not in this box this time. I just had to have some white for all of the mistakes that I'd made. And so then I have one last thing from this box, which it'll take a little while to get to, because first I decide to use the Artist PITT pens to do a snowy black background. And I think this really helps everything to pop and help me to cover some of my mistakes as well, because that Krink marker, that big boy, he's hard to control, and I've learnt my lesson. I'm going to obviously use him to do things like this in the future, where I'm having to lay down a large background or some sort of other project that's not detail work. They're also quite stinky, those Krink alcohol markers, so not as bad as people are made out to be, but if you're sensitive to smell, maybe stay away from getting them, because they do have a fairly strong odor to them. They just like alcohol markers, like Copic markers, but ramped up a notch. And so I'm using the white acrylic marker a little bit more to cheat and add even some more snow and fix up my mistake where I went across in red on the blast line. And then finally we get to the last item. This varied from box to box. Oh, so did the Krink marker, by the way. You could get different colors for the Krink marker. I got red. But the last item I'm onto is the Fudenosuke Tombow brush pen, or plastic nib pen. I got a light grey color, and so it's allowing me to put in the kind of robotic metallic sheens and shadows in, and then that is it for this piece. Thank you so much for watching. Merry Christmas to everyone, or Happy Xmas, or Merry Xmas to you all, and have a great day, guys. Bye.